All right.
Good evening and welcome to TIFF. The stars come out. I'm Melissa Raftis.
And I'm Sean Leathong. And did the stars ever come out? For a week and a half, Toronto really lived up to its title, Hollywood North.
And we begin our journey through the stars with the film that opened the festival, Looper. With a wave to our cameras, action star Bruce Willis officially kicked off TIFF with this year's opening film, Looper.
It's a very emotional film, far more emotional than it is science fiction. While it is a science fiction movie, it's far more emotional and far more about romance and what we all want.
Rising star Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a hitman who's hired to kill an older version of himself, played by Bruce Willis.
I mean, that's what I want out of going to the movies. I want a fun time, but I also want something to talk about when it's over. I don't want to just be walking out of the cinema and be like, okay, cool, what are we going to eat? You know, I like to have something to have a conversation about, something to think about, something maybe I'll keep thinking about for a while. And Looper's really got both of those sides.
It's a complicated concept, co-star Piper Perabo says makes more sense on screen than it does on paper.
And I feel like when you see it on the screen, it's so beautiful, it'll be perfect.
Gordon-Levitt says he was looking forward to spending some time in Canada's largest city and maybe even catch a few other movies while at the festival.
This is a festival that's full of cinephiles. And to me, this is my third time, I think, at the Toronto Film Festival, and it doesn't have the air of glitz and glamour as much, and I really like that about it. It's more about the films, and I doubt I'll get treated, you know, in any sort of weird manner. I think I'll probably just go watch a movie and have a great time.
Looper opens in theaters September 28th. Right on the heels of Looper was a film with a decidedly Canadian connection.
Argo was directed by Ben Affleck, and it tells the true story of 6 Americans who sought refuge in the Canadian embassy after their embassy was stormed. The Canadians eventually safely smuggled the Americans out of Iran, a moment that strengthened the relationship between our two countries, which Ben Affleck talked about on the red carpet.
Well, there was no way that we would premiere this movie anywhere other than Toronto. I mean, really a big part of this movie is about that seminal moment when the United States found out that the Canadians had basically saved or helped save 6 of our citizens who were trapped in Tehran. And there was this wave in the U.S. of just everybody saying, thank you, Canada.
Victor Garber plays a Canadian ambassador, Ken Taylor, who made the decision to take in the Americans and help them escape.
I felt a huge responsibility, and it meant a lot to me, and I really have such, admiration and respect for him and what he did.
Bryan Cranston plays a U.S. official in the film, and he says the whole cast felt a deep responsibility to bring the true essence of this story.
The biggest task was with Ben Affleck, who has to pull all this thought and ideas together, be true to the story, be true to himself, take the essence of what really happened, and be honest about it.
The film is a mix of tension and comedy, which garnered good reviews on opening night. And if you missed it here at TIFF, don't worry, you won't have to wait long, as Argo hits major theaters on October 12th.
And while there's already a big Oscar buzz for Argo, there's been no shortage of Oscar-winning actors here in Toronto.
You're absolutely right. For these Hollywood heavyweights, Toronto is a priority.
I have a feeling my career's just peaked.
But Colin Firth's career is far from over after his Best Actor Oscar win for The King's Speech. Director Dante Arola handpicked him to play the title character in his film opening at TIFF, Arthur Newman. Dante said you were the only person he had in mind for this film. What's that like, knowing that he thought of you first?
I was very surprised. It seemed the kind of thing I've often been looking for. I'm fascinated by the concept of anonymity and invisibility.
I have to thank my family in Alabama.
Any anonymity Octavia Spencer once enjoyed is long gone after her scene-stealing performance in The Help, while in Toronto she talked about life after her Best Supporting Actress Oscar win.
It's great, honey. It's wonderful. I'm loving every minute of it. It's like having your cake, the fork, the knife, the spoon, and you get to enjoy the whole cake, the frosting. It's wonderful.
Every now and again, not.
Two-time Best Actor Oscar winner for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks, leads an all-star cast in Cloud Atlas, screening at TIFF.
Well, this is one of the great festivals in the world now, and particularly in the United States, this is the kickoff to everything that is important.
Hank's co-stars Halle Berry and Susan Sarandon have Best Actress Oscar statues for Monsters Ball and Dead Man Walking and seem to enjoy the action at TIFF.
I think this is an amazing festival. It's so well respected to have our movie here. I think we all were so happy that that TIFF said yes.
It's just a fun festival. People seem to love movies, and it's a fun town.
One that continues to attract Hollywood's best.
One of the striking things about TIFF is how it mixes the acting veterans with the up-and-comers. Actors like Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, and Emily Blunt aren't quite the elite just yet, but they're not far off. And we caught up to all of them on the red carpet.
Bradley and I hit it off right away and kind of worked very similarly, so there wasn't really a very long getting to know each other and tiptoeing around one another process. We just kind of went right in, and same with David. And then obviously working with Robert De Niro is kind of a mind-blowing experience that I'm still trying to get over.
Talk about taking on the role of somebody who's grappling with mental illness.
It was approached it the same way you sort of approach any role, and you just have to, David threw a lot of stuff at me, and like chairs, like information, and watch documentaries, and we talked a lot, and and sort of there are people that I know in my life that have dealt with emotional issues, and you sort of, you modulate the character and find a place that's real, and and then tell the story.
Obviously, have these two films here at TIFF. Was that something you were conscious of when you were making them the festival season, or is this sort of a...
Not really. I mean, it's always like a plus when your films want to do the festival circuit. I think it seems to be the more conventional route for films now. It's nice having two here that are very different.
Still ahead on TIFF, the stars come out. We catch up with actor Bill Murray, who's astonished to find out he's a legend in his own time.
And Kristen Stewart makes her first very public appearance following her very public breakup.